Hey guys, it's Coach Ryan and Coach Jack. This week we're talking about rotary stability and why it's probably the number one thing keeping you from having lower back pain. So whether you play golf, tennis, you're just an average person walking around, if you don't have that balance from one side to the other, you're causing a lot of stress on that spine. We'll tell you how to fix that this week. So now that we need rotary stability, the first thing that we have to address is a balance of mobility from one side to the other. If we don't have mobility, we can never fully gain stability throughout the spine to protect that back. The drill we're going to use to increase mobility is our quadruped T-spine rotation. For the quadruped T-spine rotation, we're going to look to increase movement through the upper back while keeping the hips nice and square. So we're going to grab our right hand underneath our armpit along our rib cage. And all we're going to do is take a deep breath in, and then we're going to breathe out nice and smooth and rotate our shoulders towards the sky and turn our head along with it, creating movement here, keeping the hips nice and stable the entire time. As we create that rotation, we want to make sure that the opposite shoulder is not driving up into our neck. We're staying relatively relaxed. Now here's the kicker. While doing a quadruped T-spine rotation, we're using breathing to facilitate that mobility. So if you get to a position where your face starts turning purple because you can no longer breathe in that position, back off it just a little bit, go to a position you're comfortable breathing in, and then facilitate that mobilization pattern. Do the same thing on the other side. Again, we're looking to make sure that we keep our hips straight the whole time. We don't want to create any movement through the back. If we do have issues stabilizing that spine and our hips want to turn, we're just going to push our butt back onto our heels, locking our hips in place, and we're simply going to repeat the same thing. Pay attention to how those hips are moving, okay? If you're not sure if your hips are moving or not, one thing you can do is go back into your quadruped position. And if we are looking to turn to our right, we're just going to do it with our hip up against the wall. So if we're turning with our right hand, we're going to stack our left hip up against the wall. And if you feel any additional pressure shift into that wall, it's firm, isn't it? Any pressure into that wall, you know that you're moving through your hips and not isolating the upper back. Remember to breathe into it. 2 sets of 5 to 10 easy breaths on each side. If you feel tightness on one side more so than the other, hit the side that feels tighter. Now, once we've made ourselves more mobile, and we've been able to achieve that balance, we're going to look to increase what's called our static motor control, a form of stability where we're going to make sure the hips are locked in a stable position, and we're going to move through the upper body. One of our favorite drills to do that is a half kneeling lift. A couple of pointers. We're going to have the cable behind us on a 45-degree angle, so Jack's actually going to turn himself more towards the camera. Beautiful. That front leg is going to have roughly 10% of the weight on it, so we should feel totally comfortable with lifting that front leg off the ground so that 90% of our weight is on this back leg. It's active, it's stabilizing. And we're going to look to move that front leg in towards the midline of this back knee as close as we can in a straight line. Now, if we feel unstable, boom, we're just going to wiggle it back out to the point where we feel stable, and that's going to be our checkpoint. So, for the half kneeling lift, start with the arms extended, away. We're going to pull across the body with the outside arm, and then push and chop away with the inside arm. Bring it back in the opposite way you came out. As we're doing this, we're not looking to overly demand the upper body to do the movement for us. Okay, it's not a bodybuilder exercise, it's a stability exercise. So we're thinking about, it's okay, it's still there. We're thinking about nice smooth position here, channeling all of the energy through the core and the internal stabilizers of the hip to hold us in that position. In to out. The inside knee to the cable is going to be the knee that is down for the duration of the exercise. We're going to hit this for anywhere from 8 to 15 reps on each side. Again, if you feel that one side is way more difficult than the other, it may serve you better to do an extra set on that side. Anywhere from 2 to 3 sets on each side will suffice. Again, relax the arms, we're channeling the core, stabilizing through the hips, teaching static motor. Now, after we've achieved static motor control, we're going to look to work on dynamic motor control. One of our favorite drills to do that is the partial Turkish get-up. So, for the partial Turkish get-up, we're going to have the right hand stabilizing the kettlebell. Right leg is going to be bent to 90 degrees and off the hip about 45 degrees to the side. Left leg slightly out to the side. Left hand, we're going to go down on the ground. If that's uncomfortable on the shoulder, you can roll it off onto the side. Whatever's more comfortable on the shoulder. As we're holding this kettlebell, we want to make sure that we don't have any additional tension. He's nice and loose right now, which is great. Can move his neck around. That's a good checkpoint. Keeping a firm grip on the kettlebell, we're going to roll our right shoulder towards our left elbow and push the kettlebell towards the ceiling in one smooth motion. Again, when he gets to the top, he should have a completely free neck. No tension is pushed into that shoulder. He's not collapsing. He's thinking about extending and making himself long. A good cue for that is turning your armpit open, not leaving it closed where that trap can jerk up into the neck. Turn that armpit open, and then we're just going to come down the same way we came up, under control. The entire time we're thinking about keeping that kettlebell as far away from us as possible. Try to create that movement in one smooth, controlled motion. Boom, and then control down. Awesome. We are going to hit that anywhere between 3 to 8 reps on each side, anywhere from 1 to 3 sets. Again, if you find one side is more difficult than the other, you know where your imbalance is, attack it, try to improve that side. Focus on doing less with quality before we aim to do more with quantity. Good job! We actually look forward to doing this exercise on a pretty regular basis. Is our crocodile breathing. Can you do that again one more time? Is our crocodile breathing. Okay? We're going to do it in a face down position. This is a great exercise that helps decrease tone throughout the rest of the body. It's a great form of meditation. It just helps reset our entire physiology so that we're focused on breathing in the right places, and it actually helps improve our movement substantially. So whether you are using it for relieving stress or to improve your performance in a sport, we highly recommend it. Now, we're going to perform it face down, and we're going to do a lot of breathing into our belly and our sides, which is why it's called crocodile breathing. To facilitate this, you may want to have a person put one hand on your upper back, one hand on your lower back. If you don't have access to that, even just having something small like a ball of socks or whatever the case may be to sit on your shoulders and your lower back, so you can kind of get some biofeedback and feel where the movement is being created. But all we're going to do is we're going to look to fill up our entire chamber here with about an 80% breath. So he's going to take about an 80% breath in, leave about 20 reserve. Okay, and what we're going to do is breathe out that 80%, and we're just going to make sure that we're not shrugging the shoulders up into the ears. So as we take a deep breath in, we're not looking to let those shoulders rise into the ears. We're not going to let those shoulders rise into the ears. As we breathe in, we're going to try to keep those relaxed. All right, we are going to look to breathe into the belly as well as breathe into the upper back. So your upper back should rise up and lower down as well as your lower back. However, of that 80%, we're going to look to breathe about 60% into the lower abdomen and the additional 20 into our upper back. So we're going to take a deep breath in on a 2-second count. So we're going to breathe in that 80 on a 1, 2. We're going to hold it for 1 second at the top, and then we're going to breathe it out on a 1, 2, 3. Hold it for 2 seconds at the bottom. Breathe in, 1, 2, hold. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3. Hold for 2 and repeat. You can do this drill for anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes. Again, great for meditation, great for relaxing, also just great for resetting the body's entire physiology so you can decrease tone throughout the whole body. That's crocodile breathing.